Welcome back. Grammy-winning singer and songwriter Lee Greenwood is celebrating the double platinum success of his hit song, God Bless the USA, at the CMA Music Festival over the weekend. Lee Greenwood joins me right now. Lee, congratulations. It's great to see you.
Thank Maria. That is a great accomplishment. As I look back at the years since I've written "God Bless the USA" and sang it in so many different places, to receive that double platinum award is really a mark of my history. Thank you.
It sure is, and I wonder, when you were there, I mean, seeing, the incredible reception. Do you feel these days a different tone in the air in terms of patriotism and obviously the respect for your work and the respect for honoring our country as President Trump has put America first?
I actually love that very much, yes, and the unity comes together. And when I sing that on stage, and of course, either preceding the president or after the president has made an appearance. Recently, our trip, of course, to the Middle East was really amazing, where the casual conversation between the Emir, His Royal Highness, and the president. I performed at the palace, which is the first time they'd ever had a performance in that palace, and then at the military base as well. And to see our hosts there actually videoing us and taking pictures of us, and I'm standing with Hegseth, and the president comes on stage, and the military's like screaming and hollering, "Yay, we love this!" It's like, it was surreal.
Well, exactly. And I wanted to ask you about the trip because, you've won so many awards in America. You've gotten the CMA Male Vocalist of the Year in 1983 and 1984, Grammy for Top Male Vocal Performance. The CMA also named God Bless the USA its Song of the Year back in 1985, not to mention this most recent success. But when you are in Saudi Arabia and you accompanied the president on this trip to the Middle East last month, you performed for U.S. troops in Qatar. And that must have been an incredible feeling to be so far away from home and have the respect and the regard from the troops while you were there in Qatar. What was that like?
Well, if you're singing for and talking to an international audience, you have to choose your words a little more carefully. But of course, the song is so recognizable worldwide. The residents there at Qatar were very respectful. They recognized me immediately when we walked into a room because of my appearances with the president so many times on television. And when singing in front of the audience, I addressed them as well. I have our military, United States military, in front of us. But all of the people there at Qatar were very respectful. They're taking pictures of their videos. They have their cameras up. It's like, they're like fans. I just loved it.
Fans and of course the double platinum at the CMA Music Awards. Lee, when you're talking to the troops, I feel like it's a different feeling because these men and women are putting their lives on the line to keep us safe. We've got a military parade coming up this weekend. I mean, you recently came out with the God Bless the USA Holy Bible in the King James Version translation. I want to ask you about that as well as we approach this upcoming weekend where we will have a military parade on Saturday. The president leading that parade to celebrate the Army's birthday of 250 years old. And you've got this Bible now out, a new Bible as well, coming out as we celebrate and thank God for where we are. And by the way, it's also President Trump's birthday on Saturday.
Well, interestingly enough, Maria, my wife's birthday, Kim's birthday, is tomorrow, the 13th. The president's birthday, the 14th. It's Flag Day and the 250th anniversary of the United States Army, and I will be there singing at the parade. There's been tremendous acceptance, of course, of the God Bless USA Bible, which you just showed a picture of. This is the newest version of it. This is the presidential Bible. It honors Donald Trump as the president of the United States, 45th and 47th president, and it's available on godblessusa.com, godblessuabible.com, or leegreenwood.com. And people just actually love this. This is the brand new cover that we presented to the president as well. And it's so exciting to have this. I'll be excited to go to New York, of course. And I love New York. I love going into parades. I was a drum major for my own high school band when I was a senior in high school. So I never get tired of being in a parade. It's great.
And you have another Bible in honor of the First Lady, right?
I actually do, and I have a copy of it right here. If you ladies would like to have a copy of this one, Melania, oh, this is so beautiful. It's the same Bible, King James Version with the Constitution in it, of course. But of course, the cover honors the First Lady of the United States. You should get one of these.
Just beautiful. So what inspired you to do these Bibles? And I love the fact that you've got the Constitution in there as well.
You know, we spoke a lot about immigration. I have some friends who have become United States citizens, and they were in our house one day, and this has been several years ago, and they saw our family Bible on our coffee table in our home. And because they know so much about our country, because they have to study it in order to become a citizen, they said it would be great if you had a Constitution, Declaration of Independence, where we could read it and have it next to the Bible. And I said, well, how about if we put those two together? I think that's how the catalyst started. And then as we began to present the Bible for distribution, it was widely accepted immediately. So I know it was a good idea.
That is just beautiful, Lee. And I know you're also on the board of the Kennedy Center, along with myself. Last night, I attended the Kennedy Center's opening night production of Les Mis. President Trump and the First Lady, Melania, were there, Rick Grinnell, the president. It's been really an honor to serve on the Kennedy Center board. I know that you feel the same. What are you expecting in terms of change coming up on the board of the Kennedy Center?
You know, if you talk to Rick Grinnell, the president, of course, and Donald Trump is the chairman of the Kennedy Center board, and I've been reappointed for the next 6 years, to become part of that institution really is flattering. I mean, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and I have been for many years, and I understand the great impact of that facility. The John F. Kennedy Performing Center is supposed to be the premier center of the United States for performance. And what you see now, after you see the performance last night of Les Mis and its opening, you'll see wonderful things that are just, they're profitable. It'll be for families, and it'll give us a good glimpse of the wonderful culture of the United States. And it'll be such a much more beautiful building too, because the president has said we're going to make this like it should have been from the very beginning, and that is a beautiful structure. And
big plans, and I'm excited to be a part of it as well. Lee, look ahead to Saturday before we go. What shall we expect with you singing as part of the presidential parade as we honor the great men and women of the Army and celebrate their 250th birthday?
Yeah, it's going to be a great parade, of course, and I'll be there with my wife, Kim, and we're excited to take some pictures with some soldiers, shake their hands, and tell them thank you for what you've done for this country, and to honor the United States Army, which, of course, is 250 years now. Oh, man, I just love a parade. So, you know, everybody watch it, and we'll honor the president as well, and just say happy birthday, Mr. President.
Absolutely, and we will have live coverage on Fox News. Lee, it's great to catch up with you. Thank you so much, and congratulations again on the awards, on the Bible, and incredible patriotism in your success, sir. Thank you.